It started as a routine morning at a remote U.S. military base stationed deep in the jungles of Thailand. The soldiers, hardened by their training, were accustomed to the dangers of the wild: monsoon rains, venomous snakes, and the occasional elephant passing through the outskirts. But nothing could have prepared them for what began to unfold. Every morning, as the mist rolled over the dense jungle, a full-grown tiger would emerge from the shadows and slowly stalk the perimeter of the base. He, or so they thought, paced back and forth, muscles rippling under his striped coat, a deep, guttural growl echoing in the humid air. At first, the soldiers stayed back, keeping their weapons close, eyes trained on the predator. They didn't want to provoke it, but they also couldn't let it breach the base. Yet, strangely, the tiger never attacked. It just watched and waited. Days passed, and unease spread like wildfire among the ranks. No one could sleep soundly, knowing a massive tiger lurked just beyond the fence, never leaving, never backing down. Was it hungry? Was it sizing them up for an attack? Tensions rose, and even the toughest soldiers found themselves on edge. Finally, the base commander made a decision. This couldn't go on. He ordered his men to stand by while he reached out to a local zoologist, an American who had been studying Thailand's endangered wildlife for years. When the call came in, the zoologist was baffled. A tiger? Stalking your base every day? That's not normal. It was unusual, to say the least. Tigers were territorial but elusive. They avoided humans. Something wasn't right. With curiosity and a healthy dose of caution, he agreed to come. When the zoologist arrived, the soldiers wasted no time explaining the situation. He could sense their fear, their exhaustion. This tiger had turned the base into a fortress of paranoia. But as he listened, he noticed something odd. The tiger's behavior wasn't that of a predator hunting prey. It was desperate. For 2 days, the zoologist observed the tiger from the safety of a watchtower, taking notes, analyzing its movements. His gut told him that there was more to this than a simple territorial dispute. Then, on the 3rd day, he came to a startling conclusion. "This tiger isn't here to hunt you," he told the commander. "She's here for help." A heavy silence filled the room. "Help?" one of the soldiers scoffed. "A tiger? You're saying she wants us to help her?" The zoologist nodded. "I believe she's leading us somewhere." The commander hesitated. Following a wild tiger into the depths of the jungle was beyond reckless. But the alternative, waiting for the animal to become desperate enough to breach the base, was worse. When the zoologist asked for volunteers, he expected hesitation. Instead, hands shot up immediately. The men were afraid, but they were also soldiers. If this mission meant ending the fear and uncertainty, they were ready. At dawn, armed but instructed not to fire unless absolutely necessary, the soldiers followed the tiger into the jungle. Every step was calculated, their boots sinking into the damp earth. The air was thick with tension. The tiger led them deeper and deeper into the foliage. Every now and then, she stopped, turning her massive head to make sure they were still behind her. The soldiers, hearts pounding, exchanged nervous glances. This was insane. Then, as night began to fall, the tiger disappeared. The jungle swallowed her whole. Panic surged through the group. Had they been lured into a trap? Were they the ones being hunted now? The commander ordered the men to set up camp and keep watch. But no one slept that night. The jungle was alive with sounds. Branches cracking, distant howls, the ever-present hum of insects. Then, just before sunrise, a sound cut through the darkness. A cry. Not an animal's cry. Not human either. Something trapped. The soldiers wasted no time. With the zoologist leading the way, they searched for the source of the sound. It wasn't long before they stumbled upon a roaring river, swollen and raging from the monsoon rains. The tiger was on the other side, pacing near a pile of fallen rocks. That's when they heard it again. Muffled, weak cries, coming from beneath the rubble. The realization hit them like a freight train. The zoologist rushed forward, scanning the area. "This isn't just any tiger," he said breathlessly. She's a mother. The soldiers sprang into action. With their combined strength, they began pulling away rocks, their hands scraped and bleeding as they worked frantically. Every second counted. If the cubs had been trapped for days, they might not have much time left. Then, finally, the last heavy stone was lifted. A dark, hollow space lay beneath it, and within it, two pairs of wide, frightened eyes. Tiny tiger cubs, weak, trembling, but alive. A roar erupted from across the river. The mother tiger had seen them. She knew. She paced anxiously, but she didn't attack. Instead, she waited. The soldiers carefully lifted the cubs from their prison, carrying them away from the raging water. But there was a problem: the river. It was too dangerous for the mother to cross, and they couldn't simply leave the cubs there, vulnerable to predators. They had one chance. One of the soldiers, the strongest swimmer, cradled the cubs against his chest and stepped into the water. The current fought him, dragging him down, but he pushed forward, each stroke a battle. The others held their breath. If he lost his grip. But he didn't. Inch by inch, he made his way across. And then, finally, he reached the other side. The moment he placed the cubs on the soft earth, their mother rushed forward. For a brief, tense second, the soldiers thought she might attack him. But instead, she brushed past him, her powerful frame trembling with a palpable urgency, nuzzling her cubs with frantic desperation. She licked their fur, her tongue moving with a tender precision, checking every inch of their tiny bodies, ensuring their safety, their very existence. The soldiers watched, their weapons lowered, their hardened hearts softening at the sight of such raw, maternal instinct. And then she looked up, right at them. Her eyes, usually fierce and guarded, held a depth of emotion that transcended the boundaries of species. Was it gratitude? Understanding? No one could say for sure, but in that moment, the fear that had once gripped the soldiers, the adrenaline-fueled tension of their mission, vanished. It was replaced by a profound sense of peace, a quiet understanding that they had witnessed something sacred. They had done something extraordinary, something that resonated far beyond the confines of their military duties. Something bigger than war, bigger than survival, bigger than any mission they had ever undertaken. They had saved a mother's children. In the chaos of conflict, amidst the harsh realities of survival, they had intervened, not as soldiers, but as humans, extending a hand of compassion to the vulnerable. As the sun rose over the jungle, casting a golden light through the dense foliage, the soldiers made their way back to base, exhausted but victorious. Their victory was not marked by conquest or destruction, but by an act of profound kindness, a silent testament to the enduring power of empathy. The tiger never returned to the camp again, her absence a quiet affirmation of the unspoken truce. But in the days that followed, they would sometimes hear distant roars echoing through the trees. Not of warning, not of threat, but a deep, resonant sound that seemed to carry across the vast expanse of the jungle. But of life, of survival, a primal symphony that spoke of resilience and hope. And perhaps, just maybe of thanks, a silent acknowledgement, a raw expression of gratitude that resonated through the heart of the wilderness. The soldiers, forever changed by their encounter, carried within them a newfound understanding of the interconnectedness of life, a profound respect for the delicate balance of the natural world. They had witnessed the power of compassion in the face of conflict, a reminder that even in the darkest of times, humanity could find its way back to its truest, most compassionate self. If this story moved you, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more incredible tales of courage, compassion, and the wild. Your support helps us bring more stories that inspire and remind us of the deep connections we share with nature. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an upload.